You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
What do you want to dive into first?
Your call. What do you want to talk about?
Well, are we here to talk about the Luka Doncic trade?
Yep,
So should we start with the Luka Doncic
let's
trade?
do it. Go right in.
You can start.
Okay. Um, Luka Doncic was traded.
That did happen.
LA Lakers from the Dallas Mavs. Very surprising trade. Um, yeah, nobody really expected it. Thought it was fake. Um, Pretty illogical trade if you ask me. I don't know why they would trade somebody who's 25, multiple all-time all NBA player.
You don't know why.
No, I don't know why.
It sounds pretty clear. They didn't want to give him a super max. They're concerned about his weight, and they have a specific roster in mind to compete this year, and they want to build that roster. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just telling you why.
Here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
That would be like if I asked you, if you were in a burning house and I asked you why you were taking a piss and you said because the piss will put the fire out, right? That doesn't feel like an answer to me. Like it's not an answer that's
You don't think
sufficient.
there's real weight concerns for him?
I don't think I care. I think there were weight concerns for Shaq. I think
If he's really 270, do you think there's cause for concern? 40 pounds overweight.
no,
40.
not in terms of giving him a super max. No, I think he
I
should
don't know if
be
he. I don't think he would have been eligible for the supermax anyways. The games he missed.
short of beating women and children. I would see no reason to get rid of that guy. I don't care if he's drinking in the locker room at halftime. I don't particularly care if he's partying all off season and rolling into work hungover.
Yeah,
That's not a reason for me.
I mean, he did start slow this year when he was playing. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying their logic. And they think they need a more defensive presence, specifically in a big man. Um, I guess they got. I wonder if they have Caleb Martin now. Um, guess he might play two Clay at 3, 80 at 4, Lively at 5.
Could be. It's possible.
Um, I mean, we haven't seen much from Caleb Martin outside of that one Celtics series. But back to Luca, I think they really want to. I think they have something very specific in mind. I think um, there's great cause for concern. I don't know if I
Great.
agree with it. There must be. You don't trade them, and if there wasn't, they had some
Great
major.
cause for concern.
Yes.
You think?
Why else would they trade him?
Because they're incompetent? Is that possible? Is it maybe
So
just
you think they
incompetence?
just said let's trade Luca because we're incompetent? No, they said let's trade Luca because we're concerned about Luca and we're concerned about his weight.
So you're not saying their concern is valid. You're saying they have great concern.
Yes.
Okay. I'm saying it's because they're incompetent. I'm not saying because there's any reason to have great concern. That's what I'm saying. You're saying I'm saying I don't understand why they traded him because with the facts available, there's not enough reason for them to trade him. So I don't understand the decision. Regardless of whether what they're telling me they made it for, I don't agree with their reasoning. I think it's insufficient. So I don't believe it to be their reasoning, or else I think they're incompetent.
I mean, I'm not saying they're not incompetent. I'm just saying I believe they had enough reason to trade him. I don't know if it is.
You believe that based on what you think to be reasoning, or what you think their reasoning is.
I don't. I'm not sure if I know the reasoning. It doesn't seem like there's enough of it.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
yeah, I can't imagine. As incompetent as you are, you don't trade a player like Luca unless there's significant reason to. And I mean, call them incompetent, which they are, but like, I don't think they just woke up one day and said, "Let's do this." I think it was a a problem that kept getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, this is all speculation, but I, it would do them no service in the long run to trade Luca. So I imagine the problem is just as bad as they're saying it to be with his weight. And we're all underestimating how bad it was, or there's more to it.
Yeah, I my problem with that is if I assumed everything they said was true and the things that they haven't said, if I believed that, like according to Reddit, he had a drinking problem, or if I believed that he was so grossly overweight that he was 270 pounds or whatever, or if I even if I believed everything they said was true to be true, I still would not find that sufficient reasoning to trade them on the basis of Zion Williamson. He is grossly overweight. He,
Yeah.
by all accounts, doesn't care that much about his job, and I think you, me, and the camera would agree he cares less about his job. He cares less about his job than Luka Doncic seems to, at least from what we've gotten to witness.
Yeah.
So on those grounds, I find it flatly ridiculous. I don't think even with the reason that they've given, it's not adequate to me. And even with the reason that's been speculated on, it's still not adequate to me. Short of sexual assault claims or some other heinous behavior, I don't think you could find a reason in the book that I would say, yeah, that justifies trading a player like Luka Doncic, who's 25 years old, has 5 All NBA first teams, and is trending to, by every metric, be an all-time great. I think it's flatly insane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think right now, would you say they're more fit to compete this year after the deadline, or not right now after this Caleb Martin trade than they were before all this? You think they're more built to compete with in this, not in the long run, but this specific year with AD than they were with Luka?
Maybe. I'll say this. They're better today than the Lakers were 3 days ago. Like
Yeah,
they've improved in the right now more than the Lakers did right now.
yeah.
I agree with that. I got no problem with that. I don't know if they're a better team right now or if they're more built to compete right now because I think that grossly underestimates the value of Luka. I mean, he took them to the finals by himself. A lot of those
I mean,
teams,
Kyrie did help.
Kyrie helped. Kyrie's still there. He took them to the finals as the main engine of the
Yeah,
team. And all
of
those
the
teams
offense.
are essentially the same. Nobody went out and got a rocket launcher. All those guys are essentially the same teams.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely some malpractice going on in the front office and in general.
Just the fact that they're saying we're now more built to compete in the long term gives me pause to believe
that
that.
that that is ridiculous.
So that alone leads me to believe that it's either flat out incompetence or their reasoning is not sufficient. And then I can say I don't understand why they would do it.
And unless they have, actually, I can't even think of one reason
That's what I'm
that
saying.
make
It's
them.
illogical.
Yeah, all they're. I guess what they're doing is they think this is the roster to win now, and on paper it looks like a good roster. I mean, I don't know when we'll see AD play,
I
um,
don't even
and all that.
I don't even agree with it from that because did you get better than the Celtics by switching Luka and Anthony Davis? You lost them in what 5 games last year? Did you get better
Yeah,
than the Celtics by switching Luka and Anthony Davis?
I think you might have closed the margin at least a
How
little
much?
bit.
You think what, like 5, 10%?
I think
Losing Luka
AD. I
33
think
points a
AD would
game?
be better for that. If they, I mean, I guess you could say it almost looks like they're specifically building up a team to compete against Boston with AD and Caleb Martin, who've done pretty well against Boston in the past. But I mean, you still got to get through OKC at least. I mean, on paper, you could argue they're the second best team in the West, roster wise.
Who else is in the Thunder and
Rockets, Grizzlies, Lakers, Clippers, Suns,
I mean, I
Nuggets,
guess.
Wolves.
I suppose.
Um,
I suppose. I don't know.
I mean,
It's
I don't agree with it.
is mind-boggling. It's it's
They traded away their future.
no reason that they've stated has been adequate to make up for what they did.
They traded away their future for at max a 3 year window, probably closer to two. Um,
Anthony Davis is injury prone. We love him all to death. He's a future Hall of Famer, but he's
he,
injury
he is.
prone.
He is.
That's just a statement of fact.
They're going all in right now.
And why? Why? For what? Do you perceive this West to be wide open? Is there not a top 15 and 20 player of all time in the West right now in Nikola Jokic?
I'm not
Like,
disagreeing with you.
I know you're not, but like the Thunder are leverage for the future. You're just gonna lose to them for the next 10 years, so you can try to get one in now when you're not even necessarily better than them now. It
They
doesn't
but they
make any
built they played
sense.
the Thunder very well this year.
That's fine. That's cool.
Um,
You think it's gonna be the same story without Luka? Or I guess they haven't had Luka much of this year.
yeah, I think the
Yeah,
Thunder have won 7 of their last 9, and their 2 losses were to Dallas.
yeah. I don't know.
But we did watch them get. They had 91 points hung up on them in one half
This
the
is
other
the kind of
day.
trade where you gotta wait 5 years to figure out what the fuck happened here. Because truthfully and honestly, it makes no logical sense. I don't really care about this year. I'll be honest. Like it's fun to talk about, and maybe the Mavs could get hot and make a run this year. They could even win a championship this year, and I still wouldn't care about this year because it makes no logical sense to trade a top three player in the middle of their prime to a conference rival.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it came down to they didn't want to sign him, they didn't want to pay him, and they wanted something in return.
And fuck the GM, but honestly, fuck the owner. I don't know how you let that slide. The GM even was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be here in 10 years. I don't give a shit." So fine, cool. Our
The
fans will
the
still
the
be here
owner
in
the
10 years.
owners
The owner will
the
still be
owner
here in
seems
ten
like she's
years.
in it for the financials. And regardless,
How does this make money sense? How are you going to sell tickets in 2 years when Anthony Davis is 33 and Kyrie is 35?
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
How? I need
I
to know
mean,
how. They're not some big free
with the
agent
with the
destination.
with the soft cap in the NBA,
You're going to sign somebody?
no, I'm saying they don't have to sign anyone. I'm saying you could bring back Luka would have cost the owner money out of pocket,
Yeah.
and I guess she's in it for the money.
You're going to make more money in Luka Doncic jerseys and in ticket sales than you will from 2 years of Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving and then 8 years of sucking.
I mean,
They have to know that. They have the numbers in front of them, and smarter people than you or I to look at them.
I I mean, they might suck in the next 8 of the next 10 years. I don't know if they will suck. Like we have to see it. I'm not going to speculate on it, assuming they don't draft well, they don't acquire anything in free agency. Right now, they don't look like they're built for the long term, even though they claim they are.
I guess we'll see. Um, I also want to talk about the Chiefs real quick. Um, yeah, I think I think the Chiefs' hatred's all warranted, but I think the Patrick Mahomes hatred's got a little bit out of
In terms of what leads you to say this,
hand. I was on a post today on Bleacher Report, and I went to the comments, and they were all like Mahomes was like, "Yeah, I used to grow up hating the Patriots too," and somehow people had a serious issue with that, and I don't see why they would.
I don't know about that specifically, but I mean, I think people don't like the. I think that what people struggle with is the flopping. Um,
Okay,
Bending the rules in sense of bouncing in and out on the sidelines,
okay,
dropping at the last minute, which I don't blame him for. He found a loophole. He's taking a competitive advantage for it.
okay.
The flopping isn't great for the sport, but I think I mean a lot of it I've seen too is people posting the difference in reaction to Allen getting eliminated this year, to the Kadarius Toney offsides call. Um, Mahomes going up to Allen saying that call is effing BS, not even shaking his hand, just walking by him. I think people don't like him for stuff like that. And
Yeah, what? Because he bitched about losing once.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I I'm not gonna sit here and tell people who they should and shouldn't hate.
Me neither. It's just I think when people are being irrational and pointing a finger at someone who maybe doesn't need to get a finger pointed at them, I think
I mean, I don't know what you want him to do. To
I think
lose.
it's fine to give my opinion on that. What?
I mean, it's not like what do you want the guy to do? Lose?
I mean,
Like,
yeah, I feel like all the flopping and shit, like Tom Brady did that shit too. And no
yeah.
one liked, and people didn't like Tom Brady either. So if you don't like him for that, that's fine. But most of it has been around the refs and the Chiefs, and a lot of those plays that we're talking about really have nothing to do with Mahomes himself. Like we're
No.
talking about a few highlight like clips, cherry pick clips of him quote unquote flopping.
Yeah, but
Maybe two or three all year.
he is the face of the franchise. He's gonna get hated for
Yeah, and
that.
I don't even really have any problem with that. I just think it's illogical because like I don't like his family, and I'm getting sick of Kelce in a hurry. Like he said some shit um about like the media is over emphasizing the refs thing. I think that's nonsense. I never thought Kelce was the brightest bulb in the
I mean, nobody
whatever
really thinks he
or the
is.
sharpest knife in the drawer. I think he's just a
He's a good
dumbass.
football player.
Yeah, like
He's not there to think. He's
and I
there to get fired up and play football.
and there's a certain charm in that, right? He's just a dumbass, and that's fine. Like
Yeah.
he's a fun dumbass, but he started getting grating on me now with his overexposure. I get that. I don't like the
Yeah.
Taylor Swift in the NFL. I get that. I hate his brother for obvious reasons that are public. He has several sexual assault lawsuits. Like
The mother,
he's not a good guy. You don't
not
have to
the
hate him
mother.
because of his
The
TikTok. He's
brother,
not a good guy.
the brother, the dad, the wife.
Yeah, the dad is not a good guy, very patently. The wife is not a good person. But
Dumping champagne on fans in freezing weather.
that's not cool at all. Like these are. I mean, maybe she's a good person. I don't know her, but from what I've seen of her, I have reason to dislike her. From what I've seen of his brother, I have reason to dislike him. From what I've seen of his dad, I have reason to dislike him. Patrick Mahomes is a person. Nobody has any real reason to dislike him. If you want to aim your hate at the Chiefs, I'm right there with you. But at Patrick Mahomes specifically, I can't find any logical reason. Why? Because he's taking advantage of the rules. Every
No,
quarterback does that to a certain extent.
I think the main thing that people hate him for is
It's
he
annoying.
beats their teams. It's that simple.
Yeah, and that's
Ever,
fine, but
everyone has a sour spot for uh the Chiefs because they've beaten everyone.
that's fine.
A lot of people like in theory, as a Jets fan, you shouldn't have any animosity towards the Chiefs, if you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but we lost them
But
in a very
I'm saying,
public
yeah,
way. It was
exactly.
on prime time, and it was it was the beginning sort of the calls era. So my hatred for the Chiefs, I feel like, and everyone has a
Yeah,
right to hate the Chiefs. I'm not saying you
yeah.
don't, but I went to the comments and there was actual vitriol on Patrick Mahomes, the man, which isn't earned. I don't feel like. I don't feel
Uh,
like it's justified. I'm just saying that that's my opinion.
yeah, no, I agree with it. What are your thoughts on? You saw Super Bowl tickets have now dropped by 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's dumb too, but we obviously disagreed on that.
I mean, people should be able to spend their money the way the money
That's
is.
fine, but if you wanted to go to the Super Bowl last year, I don't know why you don't want to go to this one this year.
I mean,
What's
part
the
of it's because you have the
difference?
same team 3 years in a row. Most people can't afford to go to the Super Bowl point blank. Most, and even less than that can afford to go to 3 Super Bowls in a row. Um, so I mean, there's the financial side of when you have reoccurring teams, it's harder to get fans to go back and back and back. But yeah, I wonder how viewership will reflect that. If the viewership will also drop this year. I'm not gonna if I don't know the specific reason ticket prices are dropping.
I don't think anybody does.
I don't know if it's people don't want to go to New Orleans. I mean, Kendrick Lamar's performing, which is odd because like people would want to go see that, but I guess you're not paying a Super Bowl ticket to watch live music.
I
Um,
doubt it.
yeah, I mean, if people are upset with the matchup, um, I'm not gonna fault them for not paying something they don't want to pay thousands of dollars to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not faulting anybody for anything. My opinion is just that if you went to go buy a ticket for last year's Super Bowl, then go buy a ticket for this one. There's no real logical. I mean, like in fact, it, if we're being honest, like hate them or love them, they're about to. If they win the Super Bowl, they're going to make history. The Chiefs
Yeah,
will make history. You're getting a chance to witness something that's never been done before in this sport. That if you're paying how much money for?
I think they've dropped some might have dropped as low as like 2 grand.
Yeah, if you're paying 2 grand, you love the sport, right? And hate the Chiefs or love the Chiefs. You're not willing to pay 2 grand to go see them make history when you were willing last year. Because I assume a lot of these guys have to be repeat offenders
I
if they're the
get
Super Bowl
I
tickets. You got to.
if it's the matchup thing, I guess I mean
This one should
maybe
have
people
more
just don't
appeal.
care.
I find that hard to believe.
So what
Do you
would
think that's true? I don't think people
I don't
don't
know what
care.
I don't know what specifically to point at on why ticket prices would be plummeting.
Hatred for the Chiefs.
But what about the Eagles?
Yeah, hatred
So
for the Eagles too.
and if the Chiefs, you think the Chiefs are egregiously more hated last year than they were this year?
Yeah.
So you think it's gotten so bad that ticket prices have dropped in half
I think that
in
along
a
with hatred
year?
for the Eagles. I think people love the 49ers. I think that could probably I think
I think
people
people like the
I think people.
yeah,
I think some people love the Eagles, and a lot of people hate the Eagles. I don't think there's any in
yeah.
between either. No one just kind of
But
feels some way
even
about the
yeah, I
Eagles,
mean,
except for me. A lot of people love the Eagles or hate the Eagles. So yeah, it makes sense that the ticket prices are dropping. I'm not. And look, people have the right to pay with to um decide with their money where they want to spend it and where they don't. I'm not saying they don't. I just think it's rational if you pay $2,000 to go to a Super Bowl last year with lower stakes that you're not going. If you pay $4,000 to go to Super Bowl last year with lower stakes, you're not going to pay $2,000 this year to go to or the same amount of money, $4,000 too, to go to Super Bowl this year with higher stakes. That makes no sense to me. I'm not going to lie. And if I was
I
spending my
mean,
money, it wouldn't make any sense. You know?
yeah, like I don't know. Would you would you miss a few days of classes to go see this game? Would you take time off of work?
I've never been to a Super Bowl,
I haven't
so
either.
yeah, I would.
I
It'd be an
Yeah,
experience.
I would if I like. I mean, if I had tickets, I'd go. So like it, cause ever like that's the ultimate bucket list item. Like go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If I could pick any Super Bowl the last 10 years to go watch, I don't know if this is a fair question. I definitely wouldn't pick this one. But
I mean, fair.
I mean I guess it's hard to imagine what we anticipated after seeing the outcomes. But
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I assume it'll appear fully sold out on TV when we watch it. I can't imagine the stadium's gonna look empty. Uh,
Probably not.
if it does, that's an atrocious look for the NFL. Not that I'm saying they need to do something about it, but if you're not, if the Super Bowl doesn't look full, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Um, I'll be curious to see if viewership reflects um, ticket sales. I don't think it really will. As much as Dave Portnoy and the internet are threatening to boycott the Super Bowl, I don't really. I mean,
Who
what else?
cares what he thinks, bro?
Well, it's not even that. It's like, what else are you gonna do at 6:30 p.m. on a Sunday in February?
This is the last time you'll get to watch football for till September,
Yeah,
August. If you're into preseason, like what?
yeah, and
Or
I mean, um, the Chiefs also do have. I mean, having them on TV also works because um, hatred draws in viewership too. Like people passionately cheered against whoever the Patriots are playing. People are passionately going to be cheering against whoever the Chiefs play. Um, so I mean, it'll be interesting. But yeah, I don't think viewership. I mean, maybe it'll take a little dip, but I don't think it'll be that um big of a problem where the NFL like has. I don't think it'll impact the NFL hugely, even if it dips a little bit. Um, but yeah.